is overrun. When the structure is undone by some new concoction. Now I walk softly and carry a big stick.
Welcome to the Franchise Show. I'm Joe. With me is my brother, TQ.
Hey, we back in the building, ladies and gents. How y'all doing this evening, morning, midday?
Wherever you're at. How are you doing, man?
I can't complain, man. I can't complain. You know, could be better. Could be a whole lot worse, though. You know what I'm saying?
You ain't never lie.
Be better if the Raiders could have won that game in New Jersey this past Sunday.
Yeah, but man,
they did not.
But think about it. They had a lot going on last week. I mean, you had to deal with the Henry Ruggs situation. So you mean, you know that they're not all there mentally right now.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we gotta give something to that. But at the end of the day, man, you gotta figure out how to leave it in the locker room or leave it at home or whatever. And I get it. Like, you know, West Coast teams are notorious for going to the East Coast, playing that early game and losing. And especially the Raiders, like we do that a lot. But we pulled it off when we go to the East Coast, man. You know, check us out, man. No, stop. We're not gonna get off on no bad note on this show tonight. You know what I'm saying? We need positive energy.
Yeah.
So
no
you know, we've made it a thing to go across to the East Coast and lose that early game, and you know, went to Pittsburgh early this season and pulled that off. So I was just expecting a better run, but I would say that was the worst Derek Carr we've seen this season.
You know what, man? I thought they were going to go there and blow him out. I sit on a local radio show here in town with Q. I used to do a show with Q, for those that don't know. Q and I did a show called Q&A. It's a Raiders podcast, and he now has a show here in Vegas. And last Friday, he had me on. We were talking about UNLV, and he brought it up towards the end, like, hey, like, what do you think of the Raiders? I'm like, oh, I think they're gonna be all right. They're gonna use this motivation to blow them out. But they left points on the field, especially in the red zone.
Yeah.
That's when, you know, the red zone, for those that don't know, is when you get inside the 20-yard line. That's like your best scoring opportunities. Mm-hmm. And they left, I want to say 9 points, if I remember correctly, 9 to 12.
Yeah.
So with that, he's got to be better in there.
Yeah.
But nobody in the NFL has had to deal with the distractions since right before the season.
Right.
The first 6 weeks of the season.
Right.
And then now going into week 10, you had 3 different distractions, and basically they're 3 weeks apart.
Yeah, major.
It's not small. The Raiders lost their team president and a few other executives who resigned abruptly.
Right. Long time.
Yeah. Like Mark Badain's been there with the organization since the 90s. He's a great guy. Then you lose your head coach and president. Yeah. And then with your off title alone, your best receiver, because Darren Waller's the best offensive weapon, but receiver is Henry Ruggs. Right. And you lose them all suddenly and abruptly. Like, in that locker room, you have to feel, and, you know, as a former athlete, like, I would feel kind of lost, because you're going to see that locker where one of your friends is at, one of your brothers is.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, damn, like, man, it was all good just a week ago.
Yeah, and then, you know, it has to be some excitement within a locker room on draft night, right? Yeah. When you bring in guys, you may have seen them in college, or even if you don't know who they are, even if it's in like in the Raiders situation, I'm sure that 2020 draft, when they said Damon Arnett, I'm sure it was some guys like, who the hell is that? Right? But at the same time, it still creates a mystique there that says, well, Mayock went and got this guy.
Mayock and Gruden went and got this guy.
Mayock and Gruden went and got this guy. So who is he? He must be something.
Right.
And it creates an excitement. So, like, you know, if a guy comes in, he plays good in practice, or he's a good teammate, or he just has a personality that you like, you know, you gravitate to him outside of being a teammate. He's a younger player, somebody that the veterans are there to gravitate to and pull along.
Right.
You know, there's a love that's created in that locker room atmosphere, and then when them guys just abruptly are gone from the team, and you're just not going to see them again.
And that was Ruggs. Like, everybody liked Ruggs.
Yeah.
And I'll say this: the Raider game I went to, Did last 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago?
Yeah.
That's what gave me the tickets.
Damn.
Yeah.
Like that.
You know what I mean? So, like, I mean, so with all that being said, bro, like, if you're a teammate of his, there's going to be a letdown. And now it's like bounce back time, though. You've had that time off.
Yeah. Now you hit the nail on the head. That's what this is all about.
It's the bounce back. And you go, and Sunday they play against their biggest rivals. It's like Man U and Man City.
Man.
You know, it's the Raiders and the Chiefs. I'm going to be at that game. You will,
and me
too.
both, brother. You and me both.
So you get to sit and root. I get to sit in the press box.
Oh, well, I mean, shame on you.
But no, I get to eat. But I get to eat better, though.
Oh, so you think?
Okay, let me I get to eat for free.
All right, there you go. You got that part.
You get to drink, though.
Oh, yes, for sure.
You get to get wasted.
Yeah, I'm going to get toe up at this game. I got some people coming in, including my father, who's just a heavy Kansas City fan for some
what? I did not know that about Skip Rock.
Yeah, man. It's just like this guy of all the teams, and he likes the Chiefs and the Steelers.
How the hell did that happen?
What is wrong with this guy, man? I don't know, but like, that's the way he's been from the beginning. He's coming in, he's going to the game with me.
Is he going to wear a Chiefs jersey or Chiefs gear?
You know what? I don't know. I hope not. He might have some stupid dad Chiefs hat. You know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying? It's his world. He can do whatever he wants. But we're gonna have a ball Sunday night because I'm just expecting. All right, the smoke is cleared. We know the state of the team at this point. Ruggs is gone. Arnett is gone. Gruden is gone.
Deshaun Jackson is in.
D-Jack has arrived. What I noticed was that those safeties that normally cheat to that Ruggs side didn't have to in New York.
No, they didn't.
And that throws our offense completely off.
I wonder who said that last week.
So like his I don't know. I wonder who too.
Yeah.
So his
talking about us.
You know, his absence there. It's not even about him having a great game. It's just the threat. The threat of that kind of speed. It just makes the defense pay a lot of attention that they didn't have to pay last week. And that just allows that offensive line a little more time to gel. Just allows an extra second for Derek, for Darren Waller, for all of them. So putting D-Jack over there that should bring a little bit of that back, hopefully. And you know he can still get loose, so it's no telling.
As long as he holds on the ball.
Yeah.
When he crosses the goal line instead of dropping it at
Come on, man. All that stuff is over, right?
He just did it a couple years ago.
Just stop it, man. Just stop it.
Did it in high school in the All-Star game. Did it at Cal.
Come on, man.
Did it in the NFL twice.
The man is going to be a blessing. He's exactly what we needed to go pick up. He wants to come in and win. That's all he really cares about at this point. He wants the ball. He wants to be an integral part of a winning team.
I will say
he hasn't been able to do that most of his career.
I will say that he was the guy I thought was going to be the right guy for the Raiders over Odell Beckham.
Yeah.
You know, I said that, and I wasn't surprised. I think when I was texting you on Sunday that it was happening. I know you were pretty juiced about that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm saying, man, like, you know, I just know we needed that speed. I felt like when I looked at this team at the beginning of the year, when they, you know, and the games that they win, when they play well, it's really hard to stop. Like, that was hard to stop. And you could see the confusion in the defense because between Gruden, Ole, and DC, like, it's a hell of an offensive scheme that the Raiders can put together. And they can create hell in the matchup part of the game. So losing Ruggs was heavy, and I think they plugged him up with the right player. If Odell Beckham Jr. is out there and you can get him, you inquire about that, period. And if you can't, you can't. But I agree. D-Jack definitely fills the role that Ruggs left. He fills that void. He's the perfect player for that position, so hopefully we can get back to business.
Speaking of business, let's talk about some franchise business.
Yes, sir. Always like to do that.
So, obviously, we're here in Vegas, and one of the things that we're really known for, it may be outside of UNLV football, the thing that we're known for is high school football.
Oh, yeah.
And this week,
Woo.
we got the game that we've been waiting 2 years for.
Friday Night Lights, baby.
So in 2019, there's a school out here called Bishop Gorman. They had won 12 straight state titles.
Mm-hmm.
And they hadn't lost to a Nevada team in 12 years. They were, they're a football factory. And there's a school called Liberty. Liberty, on the other hand, it spent 10 years building up to beat Bishop Gorman. And the best opportunity they had was 2019.
Right.
Gorman had a really good team, and Liberty had a really, really good team.
Right.
They played at Liberty. UI and Trish were there.
Yep.
Colder than...
Ooh, the ice bowl.
Yeah, felt like it. And it went into overtime, and Liberty beat them by 6 points. They scored a touchdown. They didn't have to kick the extra point. That was
off
it.
The upset.
Gorman fired their coach or parted ways with their coach a few weeks later.
Yeah.
Then, obviously, 2020 was COVID. Mm-hmm. And then this year, now we do the FSM prep rally, myself and Anthony Bernal, Big Ant. And we came into the year with Liberty number 1, Gorman number 2.
Right.
Now, other places had Gorman ranked as high as 5th in the country, where Liberty was ranked in the 30s.
Yeah, y'all was tripping.
No,
we
we
say
weren't.
y'all was tripping, man.
They said that, but
Kids said y'all was tripping, bro.
But let me tell you why. Let me tell you why. In order to beat the best, you got to beat the best. To be the best, you got to beat the best. And until Liberty lost, Gorman was going to be 2 until Gorman played Liberty. On the flip side, once Liberty lost and Gorman won, Gorman jumped them. Then the next week, Gorman lost, Liberty won, we flipped them again. And then the following week, both teams won, but Liberty jumped Gorman. Gorman jumped Liberty and has been number 1 since, because Gorman was beating the brakes off of everybody in Vegas.
The brakes.
Liberty was still beating people, but not like Gorman.
But look, man, them Gorman kids said at the beginning y'all was tripping.
That was
and
the
Big
point.
Ant was tripping, man. That's what it was. Gorman says that was a fluke year when they lost to Liberty.
No,
They say they the big dogs out here, and we all gonna find out tomorrow night.
Friday night,
That's what I heard.
6 p.m., Bishop Gorman.
Yeah.
Liberty at Gorman. This is the game. This is really deciding the state championship.
Come on, man. This is a big deal out here in Las Vegas. And like all of the chirping, all of the back and forth, boy, I'm loving it.
Oh, they're nonstop. These
I
kids.
am loving it. So who's out last week? We shot the playoffs.
Gorman at Foothill.
Foothill at Gorman.
Foothill at Gorman.
Right.
Arborview at Liberty.
Right.
And a couple of D4s.
And I think,
4As.
correct me if I'm wrong, that was the first week that a Vegas school scored on Gorman this year,
so
right?
Foothill has a running back. I think it's Hendrick Thompson.
Mm-hmm.
And he took a handoff 73 yards
Yeah.
for a touchdown, which is the first points Gorman's allowed from a Vegas school all year.
Right. So then the defense for Gorman, is it a song that they were singing together, or a rap, or what? I swear, bro, listen, these dudes started doing some kind of chant or something and like jumping up and down with some kind of little dance or something. Like, what is going on here? And I mean, they beat the brakes off them kids for the rest of the game, like they just mutated. Like
Do you realize that Gorman sat
It was
all their
awesome.
starters after the second series?
Yeah.
These are all the backups.
Yeah, I noticed that. I was looking for Cyrus the Virus. I like to get him in action. You know what I'm saying? I didn't see him no more after the damn kickoff. So that was a wrap.
And it could have been worse because there was 2 bogus calls against Gorman for kick returns, a kick and a
Yeah.
punt return. That was bad penalty calls that the referee was just blind.
But Liberty says that they ain't Foothill, and things is gonna be different tomorrow night.
But you know what? Here's the difference. I agree they're not Foothill, but that same energy the same energy that Liberty had against Arborview, talking dudes, telling they're gonna kill him and putting his hand down like a dude's a midget. Like have that same energy against Gorman. Because number 11, number 5, number 14, I'm talking to y'all when you got Jeremy Bernard, one of the best players in the city. Yeah. Number 2, talking head to the coaches at Arborview. Have that same energy. Because you damn sure didn't have that energy when you were playing Modern Day. Every single one of you was quiet as a church mouse. It looked like your nuts crawled up into your throat. Butthole puckered. It was all
hey,
right.
man, listen, bro. Listen. Don't be handling the kids like that. You know what I'm saying?
Wait,
stop it.
I'm saying the same thing I say to you, to Big Ant, to anybody else.
Bro, you're gonna have them Liberty kids at our heads right now, bro. You're supposed to be. You got to be better than that, Joe.
Be better than what?
You got to be better.
I'm telling them, have that same energy. For instance, I'm going to use, so.
They was jacked up, man. They was winning. They was heading off into the.
If you're not jacked up playing Bishop Gorman this Friday and you don't have that same energy, you're fake. Look I'm going to give you the example. Big Ant is part of the franchise, and he's on the boxer Sean Porter show, the Porter Way, right?
Yeah.
Sean Porter is fighting one of our favorite fighters, Bud Crawford, in a couple weeks. Mm-hmm. And at Sean's birthday party, Ant's there, and they're filming the reality show around it, right? The 24/7.
Yeah.
Caleb Plant's there. Caleb Plant just fought Canelo last Saturday.
Right.
This is 3 weeks ago. Caleb Plant walked up to Ant and was like, so you think he's going to knock me out? Because Ant was on the podcast talking, he's going to get knocked out. Ant kept that same energy to Caleb Plant. I expect the same energy from Liberty to Bishop Gorman. Otherwise, you're fake.
Come on, man. They're going to have the same energy, man.
No, they're not.
Man.
No, they're not.
Bad team.
It's not that they're a bad team. I seen what you did against Modern Day. We left at halftime because it was 48-6 or 48-7.
Oh, yeah, it was terrible. But that don't mean anything, man. That's Modern Day. That's something different. This is Las Vegas. Liberty pulled off the impossible a couple of years ago. And then Gorman has had to sit in it for a whole season. 2 seasons. You
don't think they're not stewing? You just answered your own question. That's why you laughing. Gorman, this has been circled since that date. This is literally the only game that Gorman was like after their 4 preseason games.
Yeah,
this was the game. They knew what they were going to do to everybody else. And here's the thing: this is the revenge tour. Let me tell you why. I'm gonna break some news on this. Nobody knows this. I haven't even tweeted this out yet. For real. If Gorman beats Liberty and Hamilton High School in Arizona beats Chandler or whoever they play, Hamilton's the one that came back and beat Gorman with under a minute left.
Right.
They're going to play each other at Bishop Gorman in the Geico Bowl in December.
Get out of here.
Revenge tour. You don't think Gorman has this? You don't think?
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Heavy.
Yeah.
Heavy. But if Liberty comes out there tomorrow night and upsets, shocks the world again.
Okay,
what are we gonna say?
You found a new passion that you're earning your 10,000 hours in, which is shooting photography.
Yeah, sports in general. It's just fun, man. Like I've always taken a camera with me on tour. Always, like I always would buy me a little camera and just take a bunch of flicks, and it's just always been interesting to me. I think it was my second album. It was this famous photographer did the album package, and he would let me come and just kind of watch his editing process. And this was back before all of the
digital stuff,
stuff that's happening right now. But it was just interesting, and that was my favorite shoot. I used to hate taking pictures, period. But what he did in editing to those flicks, and we actually shot it out here, oddly enough. And that's when I started just kind of, because he was just telling me things that he was doing in the camera. So I would get him and I would just try him, right? It was just a hobby. But then when I started working with Trish, she just kind of became the person that just captured everything that I did visually.
Right.
So, she started directing all of my videos, all of the photo shoots, all the pictures that anybody's seen of me pretty much over the last 7-8 years have been her photography. And she's just always giving me tips, right? Just tips and tips.
Yeah, she can make me look good then.
Yes.
And she was a huge step up. I mean, like billion years from M Dog, the Invisible Man shooting.
Shots fired. Yeah, so
I'm gonna get a call from him now.
Oh,
like,
guaranteed. So then when we started this, it was just us. Like we had this idea and we created it ourselves. We didn't have people to shoot, and we couldn't just have her shoot the whole thing by herself. And like for me, sports photography is a bit different because I think if you played the game or if you know anything about the game,
right,
it's a lot easier to shoot if you have a bit of an eye. You just got to just got to understand where the ball is going.
Find the flow of the game.
Yeah, and the more you understand about a sport, the more you can kind of be ready for where you think the ball is going. So a lot of times I'm on the sideline, and if it's 3rd and long, then I'm naturally not paying attention to what's happening in the backfield.
Right, you're going to
right. I'm going to zoom out, and I'm going to I know my spots where certain guys are going and where they might get the ball. Now you might miss, but a lot of times you guess and you guess right, and with the cameras being so fast, you just literally start shooting before the ball gets to where it's going, and you can just end up getting great shots, man.
Speaking of, you got some great shots. If you guys haven't seen them yet, go to franchisesportsmedia.com, click on the HS football.
Yeah, 702 HSFB link.
And go into the gallery, and you'll see shots from not just TQ and Trish, but also we have a really good photographer, great guy too, Quincy Hatcher, Q the One.
Yes, indeed.
Mike V, and we have more people trying to take flicks. But I'm asked you that about the pictures because that passion, because we've seen Liberty enough this year, and we've seen Gorman enough this year. Mm-hmm. Give me a score prediction.
Oh man, I don't want to do that, man.
You got to.
Come on.
Pure pressure.
I'm gonna say 63-21.
I was thinking the same thing. I'm going to tell you, I'll take it a step further. I think the first half, it's going to be like a 28-7, 28-14, and then second half, Gorman's just going to.
Yeah.
But the difference in this game, and I'm not, and I want to move on to something else after I say this. The difference in this game is going to come down to two things: discipline and a gentleman by the name of Craig Canfield, Bishop Gorman's offensive coordinator, who I think could not only coach at the collegiate level, he could coordinate an NFL team.
Wow, really?
He is one of the, if not the brightest offensive mind I've been around. Great guy, love him to death. But yeah, Craig Canfield, like I think that's the difference. But I think
I want to say one thing.
Yeah.
Liberty last week pulled a rabbit out of their hat. It was ugly. It was nasty. It was mean. It was low down. I'd love to see them try that.
Oh, that power eye.
Yeah, I want to see what happens.
But here's the thing.
I want to see what happens. It was blood on the field when they started that.
But
bro.
their guys were getting hurt.
Yeah,
like
right.
their own guys. And Gorman, all of their starters, except for Micah Alejado, the quarterback, who's a sophomore, and I believe maybe a couple guys, all sat out.
Yeah.
Like they played 2 series and like, okay, we're done. They're guys, go sit down for the rest of the game. We got business to handle next week.
Good point. We'll see. We'll be talking about it next week.
But I want to talk about the birthday that just passed.
Oh yeah,
there was a birthday that just passed yesterday. For those of you that don't know, if you're a TQ fan, you know this. On the 10th of November, it is the birthday of They Never Saw Me Coming, and this was the 23rd birthday of what is probably, I would say it's your most successful album, but I think
for sure
this is the album that I think everybody had, and we've had multiple copies because people steal the copies from us.
Yeah, they stole them from me, man. So so that is definitely a running theme. It's funny, like I posted, just put a post up of the album cover yesterday, and just kind of wrote a little bit, just what just how it all came together, what it meant to me, and like it's crazy how people are still commenting on it, and
What does it mean to you? I mean, that's got to be something special.
Yeah, man, because you know, it was small thinking for me at the time. I had been trying to say that stuff since before I got into coming of age. So when I got into the boy group, it was basically off of a promise from my manager, Teresa, that
Love you, TT.
I was going to be able to do my thing after that was done, what I wanted to do. And so I had gone from this label to that label, just trying to get it across. And everybody was just like, man, you can't sing that stuff. Like, are you going to rap or what? Like, if you're going to sing, then you got to sing R&B music about love. And it was just so frustrating, just having to be, you know, in this box for all of this time. You think about it, you fresh out of high school, right? You stuck singing, and you're in a group. It's cool and all, but it ain't necessarily what you want to do. Like, you're writing. You want to be you want to write. That's what you want to do. Like, at the time, that's what I wanted to do, and I just had so much that I wanted to say my way, because I felt like, you know, the NWAs of the world were, the message was getting clouded by the look or the whatever else.
Who was running everything. Let's just be honest.
Yeah,
it's our show. We can say what we want.
Yeah, all of that. But for me, I just felt like if I could put this stuff to melody and sing it, make it sound smooth and sweet, right? People would listen to it first and then catch what I was talking about. And, you know, I just felt like I was doing that for California. You know, I was running back and forth between the Bay and LA, just doing a whole lot of studio work. And putting those songs together, man, it wasn't really about anything else but saying my piece for home. You know what I'm saying? It was right at the end of all of the East Coast, West Coast beef. Pac was gone, Easy was gone.
Biggie was about to be gone.
Yeah, Biggie was gone.
Oh, yeah, he was. Yeah.
And so it was just kind of like, I just wanted to say my piece, right? And then what I found out was that in all of the travels that album took me to all of these places, everybody was dealing with their version of it. Like,
Yeah.
they was gangbanging in Japan, man. They had like knife violence happening in London at the time where I was over there promoting. And I was literally having to talk to like young kids who was beefing with like, just, I don't even necessarily know what they was beefing about, but it was just all about knives. You know what I'm saying? I remember going to Australia the first time and like these Aboriginal people just coming up to me, just literally wanting me to know that, hey, a lot of this is a facade. They treating us like trash over here.
Really?
Yeah, like letting me know how their rights was being violated.
I do remember that like that was a big thing, like around the Olympics, right?
Yeah, like all of that, man. Like, and it's been going on forever, for the longest. And it's stuff that I had never necessarily paid attention to or heard about. But the reason why I was finding out about this stuff is the people that were involved in it felt connected to me because of that album, because it connected to their trials and the things that they were going through. Right. Even though it wasn't the same exact, oppression is oppression. You know what I'm saying?
It's
Frustration
relatable.
is frustration. Anger, rage, due to, you know, just having a foot on your neck all the time. I think it came through in that album, and I think that it kind of it soothes people because it was R&B music. It wasn't as angry as listening to an NWA or Ice Cube or any of the stuff that we grew up listening to. It was music Spice all around it. Yeah, all of that. It was music. It was funk. It was live instrumentation all the way through the album. I was trying my best to be as melodic as possible, but also make sure that I told timeless stories that made sense to people.
Well, you said it last week, or last week of the week, no, the week before that you were painting a movie. You're writing a movie for music. And ironically, I had to drive to Atlanta from California to Atlanta in 98 or 99, excuse me, in August of 99. And I was bringing a friend his car. He was going to Clark, Atlanta, and he calls me. I was like, hey, you coming back? I said, yeah. He's like, well, drive my car down and I'll fly you back. I'm like, all right, cool. So I went back to the A for a month. And I already had the album. I mean, obviously, I've had multiple copies of the album.
Yeah.
And I listened to that for 36 hours.
Damn.
I let it just roll because, I mean, but you did sing love songs in there. Your Sister is the ultimate love song. You know, I get around. That's about love. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, like,
yo, I was listening to it yesterday. Prompted me to listen to it yesterday when I was working out. I listened to the whole thing, and you know, 3 songs in particular. When I Get Out, Your Sister, and Better Days, absolutely remind me of my new project. And
I can agree with that.
yeah, that I hadn't thought about that. That made me feel good because those were my favorite records on They Never Saw Me Coming.
So when Reggie passed away a few months ago, right, I went to his funeral.
Yeah.
I picked up Tim and Crystal back home, and we were going to the funeral. And coming back, they're asking about you, like, because they're like, you know, Crystal's never met you. She was just like, oh, man, I used to play that. And so we put When I Get Out on. She sang that thing word for word, right tone, right pitch. I was like, damn, Crystal.
Man, sometimes, you know, it's like, sometimes it's just magic in the studio, man. Sometimes you just in that zone and it's just coming. And like that song in particular, like,
you and Erica sang the shit out of that
man,
song.
it just came together so well. Her voice is like, that's one of the best voices I've ever heard in my life.
Really?
The best voices I've ever worked with. Like that's one of the best voices on earth. And she rocked it, right? She rocked it. And you know, it's just some of those times, man. It's been times when I just been involved in songs or involved in projects. And you can just tell when you're sitting there in the studio that it's something is happening right now. You know what I'm saying? It's that zone. But you know, I want to take a little time here in our podcast to just thank all of the fans that have just been hitting me up. Man, I got so many messages on the post from yesterday, and then so many more in my inbox. Like, people are listening to that, and it's just reminding them of a time in their lives. Like, some of them, they just remember it being the best time ever because it's like the late teens, early 20s. Yeah. Then other ones, like, they've used it for therapy, man. It got them through some things.
Done both.
So many cats hit me. It was like, man, I was in jail when this came out, and like, I bumped it while I was in there. Everybody in there was bumping it, and I bumped it when I came out.
And I know exactly the situation you're referring to with that, but we're not going to talk about that.
Hey, man, listen. So I mean, it's just, you know, it's a blessing. You know, that wasn't necessarily what I was doing music for, but I guess that was what I was doing music for. You know what I'm saying? So thanks to everybody who, like, y'all really made me feel good yesterday. All of the stories, and today, you know, all of the posts and all of the thank yous that everybody's giving me. I'm definitely saying thank you back. And 25, we doing it again. And that's all I'm gonna say about that.
We'll tease that. Something special.
Yeah.
You know, it's crazy with that record because I think we said this once before when we did something on IG. But before that record, R&B singers were not singing anything that's reality-based R&B, reality R&B. And you really changed the game. You kind of laid the blueprint. And I'm going to say some names, and people are going to raise their eyebrows if you listen to this. But you gave R. Kelly a blueprint, which gave Trey Songz, Chris Brown, even though he's in jail now, Fetty Wap, August Alsina. You gave them a blueprint. You are really the father of reality R&B.
You know what, man? Like, so I hear this a lot. I get this a lot from a lot of people, right? And I grew up listening to 60s and 70s R&B from my parents. My dad had a sick LP collection, and my mom's 45 collection was just as sick as his. So between the both of them, I had everybody's album and everybody's single. Like Marvin Gaye, Curtis Mayfield, Stevie Wonder, shit, Bobby Womack. The list goes on and on with, I mean, legends who wrote music about the struggle.
Mm-hmm.
So me, myself, it was just like my fight with all the record companies in the beginning. I'm like, man, I just want to do my own version of what's going on. Mercy, mercy me.
Right.
Like, I'm your pusher. These were the things that was happening to them dudes that they was dealing with every day in life.
Right.
In addition to whatever the love thing was. I just wanted to do the same thing. And so instead of saying that, I think that I opened up the imagination of record companies to allow R&B singers to sing about more than a woman. I think that's what that record did. I'm proud of it. Most of the people that you just named have come up to me and, you know, told me that I was instrumental. They listened to this album. They loved it growing up. And that's all you can ask for at the end of the day. And then when so many rappers come up to you and be like, yo, you gave me some R&B that I could listen to. You know what I'm saying? And like, that's cool, man. That's like getting your flowers while you're still here. You know what I'm saying?
And even our DJ friends, like we have Super James, for instance, who's Baby Bachelor Tour DJ, and he DJs everywhere here in Vegas or a lot of places. G Minor, same thing, DJs a lot. We hang out with them a lot, but they say the same thing. Like that album is one of their favorite albums.
Yeah.
Like and Coolio's came up to me and said like, "Hey man, like tell TQ I want to work with them. Man, that album still bumped to me. I still listen to it."
Yeah.
And it's older. It's Coolio. He's still cool. I mean, it's Coolio, but
oh man, Coolio was the man back then, bro. You serious?
That's what I'm saying. Like I'm saying, it's still cool. It's Coolio.
Yeah,
I mean, young kids may be like, but I mean, people in our age group, like, it's Coolio. But
for sure.
you know, there's a lot of people that go to that album and refer back to it as like this is an album that is a timeless album.
And then you can always, like, when you listen to the features on that album,
you were ahead of everybody.
Everybody rocked their parts because like they liked the songs that they was on. I remember like everybody was loving the songs that they was on. Quick story about the song with Too Short.
I was hoping you were going to say I was going to ask you about it.
Yeah. So we do the song and like I fell asleep at the end of it. And
you slept?
Yeah, man.
Oh shit.
Yeah, that was we was doing some marathon recording back in them days. And I fell asleep at the end of it. Short had done his part, man. And you know, I'm listening to it. I'm like, oh yes. I mean, he laid it. The song went off. And he was missing the number one.
His favorite word?
Oh, the man didn't say his favorite word on the record. I told my A&R man, I'm like, bro, we got to get the song to the man. He got to say it. And he like, what do you mean? You gonna send the song back? What are you saying? You gonna have the man? We had to get him back in the studio just to say one word? I'm like, yep,
pretty much. Sure.
And sure enough, he did it, man.
But what was Short's reaction?
I didn't ask him. Steve, who was my actually I did because we called him from Steve's office, if I'm not mistaken. Or we might have called him after it was done.
But I thought you were there because I remember what you said. He said
he just laughed that I could remember.
I thought he said something to the effect like, "You really want me to say that at the end? Like, you really want me to say that?" You're like, "Yeah."
Yeah, well, he was laughing at us. I think he thought we was joking. You know what I'm saying? But we was not joking. So, and he did it, man. He did it right there at the right spot, perfect spot. I'm listening to it yesterday, and I'm in the gym. I got my headphones on. And as soon as he said it, I just yelled it out, "Biatch!" Yeah! Show dog, baby.
So you had Jazzy Faye on production.
Yeah.
You had E40, the Dog Pound, Erica Yancey, Too Short,
Trey D. Yep. I had production from Noontime.
Was Battle Cat on
Quick did a remix. Butter did a remix. Jason Joshua did a remix. He said Jazzy.
You work with Mike on there?
And Mike, yeah, for sure. Mike did most of the songs on it. He was the executive producer for it.
I mean, you were ahead of the game.
Yeah, man. I mean,
with everybody.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, again, we had a team. Everybody at Sony believed in that record. And by the time we got there, like, we already had it done. So it wasn't a whole lot of needing to explain to the label what we were trying to do. They understood it. And that first team, before everybody got fired and they brought in a bunch of dumbasses, that first team was like, they was the bomb, man. And we really thought we was.
They worked the record.
They worked the record. They absolutely worked the record. I remember people didn't want to play it because I was like the single. I was singing about West Side, and like the whole East Coast was like, we ain't playing that. You know what I'm saying? So we literally, bro, I changed the names for every city.
I remember that. I remember being in other parts of the country, and you'd be like Queens Boulevard.
Yeah. And they was just playing it. Once I put their street names in it, they was playing it. And
you did one for the IE.
I did one for the IE, man. I did it for Tampa and Denver and Boston and Milwaukee and oh my goodness, you name it. And so many people call asking for those. Oh, they used to play a version in this city or in that city. Where is it at? Where is it at? I'm like, man.
I think you did one for Palm Springs too.
I did do one for Palm Springs. If they had a radio station, I did one for your city.
Yeah, because I know Antog played it over at KKUU in Palm Springs. I remember a couple of times that he played, and he's like, listen to this version.
Yeah. It was a ride, man. Like, so I'm grateful. Like, that album took me around the world. It got me just a great batch of fans who have been down. I mean, I don't even call them fans no more. I mean, they friends. Like, I've known them from when they graduated from high school, from when they had their first kid, second kid, third kid, got married, got divorced, got married again.
Got divorced again.
I mean, it's been a journey. So I'm grateful that, something that I made has been able to last this long. To all the Trojans, any of y'all that's listening, I love y'all. Nikki and Katie and, man, Jilly, and I mean, all of y'all, Leanne, I mean, everybody, man. So
Charlie.
many of y'all, Charlie, all of y'all just been down with me for so long. Miles, I mean, just thank y'all. Thank y'all so much.
Hub City.
Been 23 years since we dropped this thing.
Do you know what I heard?
And it's still rolling. Look at that.
Out of everything that you just said, you know what I did not hear you say?
What?
That I was wrong, that you're not the father of reality R&B. I'm just saying. You didn't deny it.
I am not the father, ladies and gentlemen.
Say more.
I am not the father. Yay.
Last thing real quick. No, last thing we can roll. We just want to get your thoughts real quick. We can roll out. It's going to be real quick. Kanye West, 3 days ago, said that he was going to give Beanie Siegel $50 million and 5% of Yeezys.
What?
Because he's the one that came up with the name Yeezy.
Sweet. You know what, man?
I just wanted your thoughts on that.
That's redemption right there. That's congratulations, Beans. Big up to Kanye for that. I mean, Mo brothers should handle their business in that way. That's the way that you should handle your business.
100%.
Go ahead on, man. I love it. I love it.
Well, that's it for this week's show. Next week, we're back at it, talking more sports, more music and entertainment. I'm Joe. That's TQ.
Yay. We in the building. This is the Franchise Podcast. See you next week.
No lip dish, no bricks. I come set the pick for the youth. Young blood roll straight to the pool.